Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City. Big shout out to DJ City. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. I got my man DJ Never here.
Yo, what's up?
I've got DJ D Miles here.
What's good?
I've got Jamie the Great here.
Yeah, what up?
And today we got a special guest all the way from Atlanta, the ATL. Grammy-Award winning producer, platinum hit maker for the past 30 plus years. Y'all may know him as the y'all might know him as the King of Crunk. He's a hip hop legend, and I would say one of the most iconic voices in music history. Not only in hip hop, I would say in music history, he's got one of the most iconic voices. We got Lil Jon in the building. What's up, John? What's good, man?
What up?
Thank you for taking the time during this pandemic to sit down with us, man.
Yep.
It's all good. So I want to jump right into something because hold on one second, my phone's going off. Somebody, let me turn this shit on vibrate. So since Sujit's birthday was last week, last year we did the Sujit's birthday party in LA.
Yeah.
So you had, I don't know his name, who you had another DJ on that opened that was DJing right before we got on with all the Taco Tuesday shit. What's his name?
I think that was me.
That was
me or it was either me or Jamie.
Oh, it was Never. I think
it was never.
It was me.
Never.
Okay, so look, Never.
Actually, Lil Jon got off
with Lil Jon first. He comes to the booth. He's like, "Yo, what version of Taco Tuesday you have?" I'm like, "What version?" I got the original.
Got the guacamole.
And he seemed kind of upset. I only had that version, and I didn't have.
Wait, are there other versions?
I guess so.
No,
and then I didn't have it queued up to the spot where he goes Taco Tuesday, and he got mad at that also
Because it's just the horns.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, oh man, it was like I was kind of pissed off a little bit. And then he got kind of upset with me again because he asked if I had Stevie Wonder Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
Which I did have, but I didn't have it queued up at the spot when Stevie sings Happy Birthday.
It should be queued up.
And then I played it. First he was like, "Yo, if you have this song, you're the best DJ I've ever met." And luckily, I was scared at first because I didn't think I had the song.
Yeah.
But I did have it, and I'm like, "Yo, I got it." Boom.
So you're the best.
So
DJ.
then the DJ song started, and Cricket tapped me in the shoulder. He's like, "Yo, cue it up to when he says Happy Birthday." And I didn't have my headphones at the time, so I tried to cue it up by reading the waves.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it at the point where he says Happy Birthday. It was like,
well, you want to get it to that bridge right before Happy.
And I got it to that bridge, but it was like out of nowhere. And Lil Jon got pissed. He was like, "Oh, there we go. You ruined that right there." And I'm like, and it was embarrassing because everybody's looking at me, and I was kind of upset, but I just like,
Never was he. He was a little tight. He did one of this shit with the headphones. He went like.
Chill, those headphones are already broken.
And then Crooked was holding me back. He was like, "Yo, man, chill."
No.
They're taking pictures and they're looking at you.
Because like
Here's the videos.
Here's my side of the story. You didn't know, from what I understand now, you didn't. I thought Sujit had talked to you about all the shit that we were doing.
No, he didn't.
Exactly. So that's why I was coming at you like, "Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" And you like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" Because I think you know.
Nah, so I didn't know anything.
Yo, what the Taco Tuesday? Blah, 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 blah. So I just wanted to get that out there so we can clear that up.
It's all love, man. No worries, man.
No, I mean,
I was talking about it. I was kind of joking, but nah. I
just want people to know I'm not a fucking asshole. Play my shit. It's Sujit, ladies and gentlemen. Sujit was supposed to let everybody know what he was doing. He was supposed to let him know that we had tacos coming out. He was supposed to let him know, "Yo, play the Taco Tuesday song." And then, it's his birthday, so every DJ always got fucking, one of them birthday songs. This is either fucking 2 Chainz, or if you got an older crowd, you play the fucking Stevie Wonder joint.
Yeah.
Because I was just trying to think of other shit to do while we were up there to make it more, interesting. So
It was.
I just want to get that out the way.
Nah, John, it's all good. No worries, man. You didn't have to even bring that up, man.
I wanted to. I wanted to talk to you about it so you understood my where I was coming from. Like I didn't know that you didn't know. That's why I was coming off like, yo, what's up with this?
It's all good, man.
Nah, John, you had to bring that up, man. You had to.
Yeah, you had to, John.
You have to, man.
I had to.
Hey, yo, just to give a little backstory on this, we basically we're all scam artists, which is with Never, DJ D Miles, Lil Jon, me, myself. We're all in scam artist management with Sujit Kundu, and he always pulls us to DJ his birthday parties, right?
Right.
And this happened to be last year's birthday party in LA in the Highlight Room.
2019.
And I believe it was me and Neva and D Miles opening for you, Lil Jon, and then Jamie Foxx hopped on in the middle of my set as well. But Sujit didn't communicate with Neva or me myself on this whole Taco Tuesday. He had a whole big presentation, right? He had like Del Taco bring out tacos to the whole crowd, and he had this whole thing going on, and you were gonna DJ and do the whole Taco Tuesday shit.
And that was even a mess because when we did just play the song, the fucking tacos didn't even come right out.
Suja kept saying, "Where are my tacos?"
And you know what's so funny? I had just downloaded that song, the taco song. I just downloaded it that day. I didn't even know you was gonna be there. Wow. So imagine if I didn't have this on my laptop, it would have even been worse. I would have looked dumb.
Yeah, so we're gonna all give a middle finger to Suji right now. Fuck you,
Thank you, Suji.
All right, that was a great way to open up the show.
I know, right? Get that out the way.
Yo, John, I have a question. Where'd you get the inspiration for that song? Because it was so left field. Was it like LeBron James situation at the time?
Yeah, it was just LeBron. And I just saw so many people LeBron had did his thing, and then so many people at that time were just like Taco Tuesday, like not LeBron's thing, but just partying for Taco Tuesday. And I had done some like Taco Tuesday parties with some people. And it was just like, let's just do something. Like, it was like, this is a great concept. You know what I mean? So let's just fucking do something. So we did it. And LeBron didn't give me no love, but it's all good. I'm going to eventually get it on a soundtrack or something. So it don't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing goes to waste.
I mean, it was definitely viral, like on Instagram and the social media for a minute, and then I was like, this is kind of genius because every week, every Tuesday, you were putting together some type of meme attached to the song and whatnot. So it was, I think, pretty much almost all of the summer to fall. You were running the Taco Tuesday, right? And pretty much
we were working it. I had influencers that jumped on board and was doing videos. So it was doing really well. And even the radio stations was playing it every Tuesday. Some stations are still playing it. So, a song like that, the life, even if it didn't break, it can still come back and eventually go somewhere. Right. You know what I mean? So that's the times we're living in. Like, I look at the story of, what's her name? What's the big girl name?
Lizzo.
Lizzo.
I knew you was going to go there.
No, I just look at Lizzo's story. Her song was like 2 years old, and that shit went to number one. You know what I mean? So with the times we're living in, like if people didn't hear it, it's still brand new.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
And speaking of songs that like brought back to life, I always think about My Boo. Like that song 20 years later came up with a dance, and all of a sudden it was like the biggest record in the club all over again.
Yeah.
Man, that was crazy, like huge, and I think it was on Ellen and all kind of TV shows and stuff too. And I remember they even performed the song at BET Awards that year. Mm-hmm. So that's how crazy big it was. But it's crazy for me. Like I have so many songs that have just a life of their own and longevity, and they won't die. Like I seen some new TikTok dances now. The youngsters got to snap your fingers. Wow. I'm like, damn, that one's coming back too. Like, so it's all just crazy because I mean, it's not many artists or producers that can say they have songs that will play every day the club is open. A DJ is gonna play them songs, and they're go-to songs. So I'm blessed, and thank you to all the DJs and you guys as well for just making those songs those timeless classics. People don't appreciate the DJs enough. And I appreciate DJs because I'm a DJ and I started off as a DJ. And like I remember I'd be in the booth and the artist come in the club and he don't even come say what up. And you be looking like, that's kind of whack. You know what I mean? Like, but this was back in the day, you know what I mean? When you really had to go, connect with people, go shake their hands to make sure they play your shit. Mm-hmm. And some guys was arrogant and they wouldn't even come say what up to the DJ. I mean, even now, like I think a lot of artists don't really show enough respect to the DJs like they should. They show respect to their DJs in their crew, but other DJs, I don't think they really, all the time show love to. Like even when I'm in Vegas, I go to check out people's sets. I go say what up, and then I go back to doing my shit. You know what I mean? Just to be like, what up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You one of the first DJs that I knew in Vegas because you would have residencies at certain nightclubs.
Yeah.
And they would actually ban you, or they would tell you like you can't just go to other nightclubs and other properties and be seen there. But you were one of the first ones that just went anyway, right? I remember hearing about like that kind of that restrictive clause in your contract, and then I'd be like, yeah, Lil Jon stopped through, and I'm like, for real? Like he just don't give a fuck, like he's just hopping around and shit.
Well, the powers that be showed me a lot of love, and they let me do me. Long as I didn't get up and get on the mic and rock, I could go. They wouldn't trip on me going to, if I was with the Wind, I could go to Dre's, or I could go to, I could go somewhere else, wherever the other spot was. I could go to Hakkasan in them days, or wherever, if I was at Excess, and they wouldn't really trip. As long as I wouldn't be on the mic, I'm not on pictures, I'm good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I never did none of that. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing I miss right now is just being in front of the live audiences, man. And Vegas crowds are, I don't know, to all the DJs watching this, if you never DJed in Vegas, it's like DJing in a grown-up spring break party every weekend. Mm-hmm. Because everybody comes to Vegas with the idea that they're going to fucking get crazy. They're going to party, they're going to dance, they're going to get drunk, they're going to do all kind of fucking drugs, you know what I mean? They're going to wild out because it's Vegas, so I miss that, you know what I mean? We ain't even got to talking about the virtual set yet, but that's what I miss the most. It's great to interact with people through the chat, but when you're DJing, you can't fucking read all the fucking comments. And you like, go back the next day and look at this shit and be like, oh, that motherfucker was in there, oh, they did this or that. Like, so it ain't like looking at the crowd. Like, you get some interaction, and it feels great, but it's not the fucking same. You know what I mean? So I miss Vegas in the sense of, the big crowds and the energy of Vegas.
Mm-hmm. So Vegas is your favorite spot to DJ at? Or was?
Vegas and maybe like any spring break, Vegas and spring break anywhere, because them motherfuckers don't give a fuck either. They ready to go. And it's crazy because this year I did Vegas. The first week of spring break I did Vegas, and I did the Bahamas, and then Corona hit and it was over.
Yeah,
crazy that because spring break is normally my busiest month of the entire year. I'm literally 3, 4, 5 gigs a week. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that, all of that shit shut down right at the beginning of, right at the beginning of spring break, Corona hit, and it's a wrap. No spring break.
When you approach your live stream sets, have you noticed that you're playing like more hip hop? Are people expecting a different side of you than than when you do a spring break crowd where it's a lot of turn up EDM and trap, right? Kind of mixed.
Yeah. So what I did, when D Nice first started his shit, people, and I would go in the chat and be like, oh, this is dope, or some emojis and shit. People be like, yo, when you doing your shit? When you doing your shit? And I'm like, nah, it ain't time for me to do my shit yet. So I waited about a month, a little longer than a month, and I just kind of sat back and I just watched all these DJs doing their thing. And I was like, it ain't nobody. Okay, I was like, everybody's playing oldies like D Nice. Mm-hmm. Are they playing fucking slow jams? Mm-hmm. Are they playing New York hip hop? I was like, ain't nobody playing no South shit? What the fuck? Nobody is representing from a Southern DJ perspective, and Southern hip hop is running fucking rap music. Mm-hmm. How the fuck is nobody DJing this shit? I get it. Some DJs is probably like, I play that shit every week, or I play this every weekend. I ain't trying to do that, but I'm from Atlanta. So that's our shit. I want to hear Atlanta shit. So I was like, let me do my set from an Atlanta DJ perspective and play mostly Southern hip hop and Southern hip hop classics. So I go into my sets doing pretty much, I probably played 10% of what I played in my regular sets, because my sets when I was before Rona was like open format. So it'd be, Atlanta hood, a little bit of Atlanta shit. Yeah. Mostly open format, some pop, some rock, some house. But I've only done like one Vegas style set this whole Corona. Right. And that was something I did with MCM. But all of my sets have been, more just the rap shit. And even though the sets like that have been, all of these sets people are more receptive to than the other shit. Even though I was doing the other shit in the club, they're more receptive to it now, I guess, because nobody else is really doing that too, So that's what I do with my live sets.
Is it crazy to see new artists like Saweetie like resampling, reusing all of your tracks? Like, I mean, that's unexpected, right? Like literally is it 2 singles in a row, right?
Yeah. The 2 biggest ones.
Her 2 biggest joints, right? My Type and Tap In. Yeah. I mean, obviously I Tap In, you must have been involved with that one, right? Kind of. Or no, really?
It's crazy because they cleared the sample. When they was clearing the sample, they sent it to me with some demo vocals on it, and I'm like, this shit is trash because it was
Wait, which one? Are you, which one?
Out there like that, but somebody else was doing the raps and which some one? Of the rap.
Wait,
part of the rap.
Which song is this? Is this Tap In
Tap
or
in.
This is Tap In? So you heard you heard reference vocals? Pretty much?
Yeah, I heard reference vocals.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, this is garbage. But I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to hate on it. Fuck it. Clear the sample, and here we go again. Another one. My Type went to number 1. I don't know where we at with Tap In. I think it's top 10.
Yeah.
But,
it's she just released the remix as well.
Right. I was just like, for me, when people start, for any artist, when people start sampling you, that means like, shit, like, I've been around for a while. I've been around long enough for a motherfucker to sample me. You've been in the game a while. If your shit has peaked, gone away, and someone said, I'm going to sample that.
Your songs never gone away, though. Those 2 songs never gone away.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Freak a Leak and Blow the Whistle still in rotation at the club every night.
Blow the Whistle definitely is.
Yeah.
That's still a big song.
3 West Coast go-to record.
Definitely.
So, I would say it might be the number 1 go-to record for West Coast.
Maybe the number 1
of all time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. And to be honest with y'all, when we did that record, so we did the beat. I was in the studio with E40 when I did this beat. So the same week I did Tell Me When to Go, I did Blow the Whistle in Atlanta in Stankonia Studios, which is Outkast Studios. So I was going through sounds. And I found that bass sound. I was like, man, that sounds like Freaky Tales. I'm going to make something with that. Now, mind you, I don't know why I decided to go up-tempo with it. Maybe because I was doing all these 40 beats and everything we were doing was up-tempo slaps. So I decided to just make a beat with that. And so I did a beat with it, and I was like, oh, this shit's crazy. So Short ended up coming to the studio that week, and I was like, yo, I got something for you. Played the beat. He was like, bet, let me get that. So I gave it to him, and he took it back to his studio and laid the vocals. And when he finished it, I was like, yeah, this is it. Because it was just bass line and drums. I was like, yeah, this is all we need. Boom, boom, boom. And he was like, no, man, we need some music on there. We need some keyboards. We need put a guitar or something in there. I was like, no. So me and him fighting about this goddamn song. I was like, and then I caved. I was like, all right. So we added some keyboards and other shit. And when we're done, I'm like, when it's time for it to come out, Tell Me When to Go is fucking going insane.
Yeah.
People are ghost riding the whip in Iowa and shit. Middle America ghost riding the whip. So when I hear Blow the Whistle, I'm like, nah, this ain't, I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't know about that one either. I was like, and here we are today. That's when it has outlasted Tell Me When to Go. That's bigger than Tell Me When to Go at the end of the day. But I didn't get it. I didn't think it was it at first, like I said, because the energy of Tell Me When to Go and the way it was, I just thought that one's going to be bigger, like in the long run. But I was wrong.
So you produced Tell Me When to Go and Blow the Whistle in the same week?
In the same week.
Wow.
And Muscle Cars. Muscle Cars was on that album. We did that one that same week too.
Wow.
Damn.
It's crazy because even when I'm DJing and people are like, yo, who produced that? I'm like, yo, that's John. And they're like, what? No way. I'm like, bro, John produced Tell Me When to Go and Blow the Whistle. Like, for me, I always thought it was amazing how you captured the sound of the city, of the Bay.
Right.
And for a person that's not from the city to do that, that's even more impressive. You know what I mean?
Well, that just goes to, like, as a producer, it's better to be in the studio with an artist because their energy rubs off on you. You get the energy, and that comes through the drum machine and through the keyboards, and you make that. So if I was just at home and I was just trying to do beats and send 40 to beat, I don't think we would have Tell Me When to Go. And the same with Blow the Whistle. I don't think we would have those because it was just the vibe. That was the vibe that was going on in the studio, and the energy, all of that helped me to that I just put that shit out through the drum machine.
You mentioned in the interview that Tell Me When to Go, you made that beat in 10 minutes, and then it was one of E40's homies I don't know if he was high on some shit. He just kept saying, tell me when to go. Tell me when to go.
Right? Like it was the end of the night in the session. We had, funny story, skip to earlier in the day. Yeah. So we like talking about, I think I had done Muscle Cars that day or something. And he was like, 40 was like, yo, we should put Keith the Sneak on this. No, we were talking about something. I was like, who's that Mexican dude? They'd be like, whatever. He was like, you talking about Keith? He ain't Mexican. I don't know why I thought he was Mexican. I don't know. I thought his accent was Mexican. So he was like, no, that's Keith. He was like, let me call Keith and see where he at, and we'd try to get him to Atlanta. He called Keith. Keith was like, man, I'm in Atlanta. We were about to head to the airport to leave. He was like, man, fuck that. We gonna take care of y'all, come to the studio. So they ended up coming to the studio. We do Muscle Cars, boom, boom, boom. And it's like 5 a.m, and I'm getting ready to leave. And like, niggas been in the studio. They've been drinking and puffing all day, all night. And one of Keith's boys just came in the studio when I was packing up. He was like, tell me when they got. 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 Tell me when they go. I guess he might have been saying that because I was getting ready to leave. Tell me when they go. Tell me when they go. I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, I'm about to make a beat for that. And made the beat real quick.
Wow.
And then 40 came in, heard the shit, all the shit, laid the beat down. He wrote the rap real quick, and he laid the beat. And while he's in there rapping, I'm asking Keek, I'm like, yo, dude, has anybody used that? Y'all niggas say dumb all the time. Anybody use the Dumb Girls Run DMC? They were like, no. I was like, oh, shit. Went on the internet, found that shit, sampled it. So when 40 came out the booth, I was like, watch this shit. So he pushed play. Tell me when to go. 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 Dumb, 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 dumb. Them niggas like to tore the studio up. Bro, you know how they niggas is. Them niggas is going crazy in the studio. Bouncing off the walls. And we had to smash. And so we finished the entire song. And then we went and ate breakfast at this landmark Atlanta spot called The Beautiful Restaurant and just talked about what was about to happen. We all knew that we were going to change the game with that song. We knew.
Damn, man.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I was in the bed when that came out that weekend. It was insane, bro. It was pretty gnarly to see that happen.
I mean, it was also crazy for me to go and shoot the video in the Bay and to see firsthand how the sideshows started jumping off and shit. And like, we were shooting this one scene in the barbershop, and niggas just knew we was in the barbershop, and they started to call people, and they just was riding up and down the street, ghost riding, and on top of cars, and just organically.
That's crazy.
And the cameraman just went outside and shot all that shit too. He was like, wow. It's just like, Bay niggas is just, the energy from Bay niggas is just crazy. I love it. I love it.
It's so dope when you can capture the culture of every city and region, right? And it's just kind of like when you're shooting that video. I always loved this one video that you had. It was What You Gonna Do?
Oh,
right? That video to me is the equivalent of DMX Get At Me Dog when DMX was in the tunnel. And
right. Oh yeah, he was in the tunnel.
Yeah, he was in the tunnel. There was Leo Cohen. There was all these New York motherfuckers in there. But it captured to me that kind of dangerous environment, the tunnel, just how raw New York nightlife was. And to me, that's what You Gonna Do, that video. That's what that captured to me. What I imagined what Atlanta, the Atlanta nightclub scene was. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's crazy because from the beginning with Lil Jon Eastside Boys, I understood that America eats up culture. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to see it and feel like they were there, even though they weren't there.
Yeah.
So we captured in all of the videos the essence of what Atlanta was. If you go to Bia, look at Bia's video. We shot that in this club called The Bounce, which was the crunkest club in Atlanta at that time. Like, you couldn't go in there if you didn't know nobody. You'll get fucked up or robbed or some shit like that.
And it was like the tunnel.
Yeah, exactly. It held like 1,000 people and shit. So we had to go there and capture the energy and the same thing, you know. So I used that formula with 40. Like, I was like, we got to capture the culture. Even like on the song when he's like, go ride the whip, go ride. So it was my idea to do the chant part because originally we supposed to have Turf Talk on. Turf Talk had did a verse, but I was thinking like, what if we did like I do Lil Jon Eastside Boys record, because the third verse is always a chant. You know, it's always some kind of call and response. So I was like, what if we do the same thing, but you talking about big shit? And so he was like, cool. And so that's what we captured it in the song, and then we captured all of the culture in the video. I think Tell Me When to Go video, it took like a week to shoot that because they went all around the Bay and shot shit all over. We wanted to make sure we capture every essence of Bay culture and put it in that video.
That's great. I remember when What You Gonna Do came out, I was like, damn, this song is hard. And then when I saw the video and how you broke down the beginning, where you just had the
elements of the track.
The elements of the track separated, and it was building up to, obviously the main part of the video. I was like, oh shit. I was just like, yo, this song's a monster. And it hit a lot of the New York DJs at the time who were like just coming up. Like, I was probably the generation before Stretch Armstrong, Mark Ronson. We were like right under them. But to all of us, that a lot of the Lil Jon shit was hitting. Like, we were playing all of that B.I.B.I.
Yes.
I Don't Give a Fuck. We were playing that shit before all of those kind of mainstream DJs were hitting that in New York. And you probably heard, like, Holotronics, Diplo. We were all mashing it up with different, we were putting, Lil Jon acapellas and shit over, like, different rock 80s beats and shit like that, just mixing it all up back then in the 2000s and stuff. So when you hear Saweetie sampling you and doing these songs and whatnot, do you reach out? Do you say like, yo, I got some new shit if you want to hear? Or is there...
Yeah, like I ended up meeting her... I met her a couple years ago. We had a show together. I think it was even before. It might have been early. It might have been early my type, like before it really took off. And so we linked and we exchanged like information and our people and shit. But this year they actually, and we did the BET Awards together. So we talked about working there, but I was just on the road so fucking much. And I wasn't like, it's taken me like 5 years to really get back into production and get to a place where I feel like I got a sound and I know what I'm doing again. So I wasn't quite ready. And then it was just like, the road was just killing me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, I'm doing like 200 gigs a year. So and for me, it's like, people don't really understand, like, to put on the different hats, I have to like detach and then get myself ready and put this other hat on. So I can't just jump from artist to producer or a DJ to artists. You know what I mean? It's like I have to really get my mind prepared to be in those places. So yeah, I just didn't have the time. But this year, well, the last couple months, weeks, we've been talking, and I think she cut like 2 songs to some of my beats, and I sent a couple other ideas over, and they might be fucking with those. So we'll see. Because I still got the sound. It's just finding the right artist, you know what I mean, to do it. But it only makes sense for her because of all the success she's had with my beats. Right. So
yeah,
obviously.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, you were working with Mac Dre's mom like last year, right? And
yes.
And you released, and I saw that interview on Genius where you were talking about how, you know, you had all of these reel-to-reels. I don't know if there was 2-inch tape of Mac Dre's vocals on it, and they had to like bake the reels in the oven in order to remaster it and separate the tracks. And you went through like 30 plus tracks, and you actually had to produce for the vocals, which was different, right?
Yeah, so it's crazy because we reached out and we ended up, shout out to the Underdog, my man, the Underdog. He had a bunch of master reel-to-reels from Dre. So we had to find studios that could transfer the reels. And when we found a studio that could transfer them, they were like, we don't want to just put this on the machine because the tape could just disintegrate when we put it on there. We could mess the tape up.
Wow.
So we had to find a studio that could bake it. They had to bake it and then transfer it. And then I had to go through the songs and see what vocals that I could use and what could be a hook or boom, boom, boom.
So what's this time frame? The baking and then everything, like getting the masters? Because I don't think people realize the amount of work it took to do this, right?
It was work just to get the tapes in hand. Like that took a couple months just for them to be like, Mac Dre mom had a lot of respect for me, and she was fucking with me from the jump, and she was down for what I wanted to do. But it took time to get the tapes in our possession. It took time to find studios that could do the shit.
Right.
It took like 2 days to bake the tapes, get it transferred, because it's like 30, 40 songs worth of shit. So that takes time to put it up, put the reel on, transfer it, digitize it. So it's a long process. Then, you know, we had to go through the vocals. Shout out to my man DJ Chronic who did that with me, and chop it up and figure out this worked for the hook or this worked for a verse. So we ended up taking like 2 songs and piecing them together for the verse and the hook. So all of that, and then with the beat, you can't just traditionally you can just take the vocals and throw them on the beat. That didn't work. So it was like we literally kind of had to try to produce the beat to the vocals. And I still wasn't really comfortable. And then I dug, and I had a beat sitting around that I had did for fucking Janet Jackson for a remix that she didn't use. And that one, the vocals worked the best on. So it was great to, you know, for his mom, his estate to entrust me with you know, some vocals and the master tapes and all of that. And it was fun just doing it, man. It was a great process, and I just feel, you know, like I said, privileged to just even be able to for them to say, okay, go ahead and touch that, because they haven't really let nobody touch his vocals, you know what I mean, let alone some master tapes. So thanks to his mom, Underdog.
Do you remember what year or what Janet Jackson track that was that you were working?
It was the Made for Now track.
Made for Now.
It was like 2-3 years ago.
Oh wow.
The one that had, was it Shaggy on that motherfucker? Okay. Made for Now. It just came out like a couple years ago. The last song she came out with.
And then so that matched, but you know, shout to Jay Espinoza. I spoke with Jay Espinoza, and he said that, and this is what was surprising to me. He said that you played him both versions. That you had 2 versions of that Mac Dre song, and it was called Ain't No Telling.
Yeah.
So you had the version with the Janet Jackson beat, and then you had some other beat that he said he liked better, that was harder, that was like on some real hood shit. And
it was very Bay Area-ish, and he played it for me.
Oh, he
and
played
I was
it
like,
for you?
he played it for me in Vegas one night at a bar. He's like, look, I thought this was a better choice of beat, and he played it for me, and I was like, I see why you say that.
Jay was just throwing around Lil Jon's drop.
Yeah, with the Dropbox lyrics.
I mean, Jay, I fuck with Jay, and I trusted, you know, I kind of wanted somebody from the Bay to give me their opinion. You know what I mean? So that's why I sent it to him and let him hear it and all that shit. But I thought the beat, I liked the other beat, but I didn't think his vocals fit really good on that beat. That's why I thought his vocals fit better on the Janet beat that we ended up using. So that's why I went with that one.
Can we get the link to that?
Yeah, can you send us the original beat?
Pull it up. I need to pull it up and listen to it.
Yeah. Well,
you might want to release that because it's really good.
Well, send it to us because I would love to play a snippet of it on this podcast, just so they can hear the differences. If you're comfortable, but if you're not, then
no, that's cool. You just gotta remind me. Shit.
Okay.
Sujit, if you're listening to this, we need the email.
So, like, I worked with you on some of the merch for Mac Dre for that single, "Ain't No Telling." What do you call it? Jamie's wearing the T-shirt right there. And it was amazing artwork. It was amazing artwork that you already were working on with another designer, and we just kind of executed the merch out there. But I remember I was watching closely on how you were releasing the single, and there was a lot of Bay Area people that were like, "Oh man, so good to hear Mac Dre's voice again."
Right.
And then there was this, and then there was like a very small percentage, but you could see them that were kind of like, man, what does Lil Jon have to do with the Bay? Like, why is he working with Mac Dre? That's sacrilegious. Like, he shouldn't be doing all of that. And it kind of made me think, like, damn, like, if I was in charge of the marketing or whatever, I would have been like, maybe we should put out a small 2-minute documentary or 1-minute documentary on how Lil Jon worked with the Bay and kind of the process that you went with Mac Dre's mom and you know trying to remaster all of his tapes and go through it, and how much care you had for it, because I felt like the product just went out there, but the story behind it was so good. You know what I mean? Like you know?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that, but like it's funny whenever people try to say something about me and the Bay and what the fuck Lil Jon got to do with the Bay, it's so many people that come to the rescue and like, you realize Lil Jon did this, and this. And it's like, and that's just the younger generation that don't know. And they're also quick to talk shit without doing research. Like, we come from the era of, let me just not talk and let me just go look this up before I say something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I seen John with Short. I know John be with 40. Let me go see what really, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I didn't really care, you know what I mean? Because I knew I had his mom's blessing and some of the crew's blessing. So, but you know, that's just hip hop too. People gonna talk shit. There's a lot of motherfuckers behind their computers just talking shit. You know what I mean? So whatever. Who gives a fuck? Fuck. You know?
Yeah.
In 2006, you were doing. Basically you did a lot of those Bay Area tracks. Tell Me When to Go, Blow the Whistle, Muscle Cars. A lot of that released in 2006. Between 2000, I would say 2004 to 2006, that might have been your busiest years ever, right? In music.
Yeah, I think 2004 was And I think Get Low might have been even 2002, but Get Low crazy.
Yeah.
Because that shit was on the charts forever. That shit was on the charts for like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2004 to 2006, Freak a Leak.
Right.
Salt Shaker, Goodies.
Yeah, Salt Shaker. Mulatto just used Salt Shaker too.
Mm.
And I think Tiger's using Salt Shaker because he was playing that on his Instagram. So, Salt Shaker, Tell Me When to Go. Just the whole Ghetto Report Card album. Yeah. That's another thing people don't know. That was on my label.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I executive produced the fucking album. You know what
Damn.
I mean? So that, Blow the Whistle. So, Snap Your Fingers.
Yeah.
Damn,
Lovers and Friends. A lot of records.
Girl Fight, yeah.
Girl
Fight. I feel like Girl Fight could come back, man. I feel like
Girl Fight was a great record, man.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying that a couple weeks ago to me. They were like, that Girl Fight. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. I feel like that's about to come back. And then you did a whole, and look, that's just Lil Jon Atlanta shit that you were doing. And the stuff you did with the Yin Yang Twins is amazing. I want to go back to that with Salt Shaker, Wait. and everything. And I also want to ask why you put Brucey B in the Salt Shaker joint. Why was he included in that song?
Brucey B.
Yeah,
Brucey B on the remix?
No, Brucey Bruce.
Brucey Bruce,
Yeah, the comedian.
the comedian.
What? Oh, the line?
Yeah,
Because
was he in the studio? Was he?
Song, yeah. On Salt Shaker, he says, no. Shake that monkey.
Shake that.
Another great one. Another
said,
great one.
All the skinny girls
Let Bruce hit it.
Big girls get loose with it. All the skinny girls let Bruce
hit it.
So we were in the studio and I couldn't figure out no lines, so I was just like Short says, let Bruce hit it. Fuck it, that works.
It's funny these lines that you come up with. Does it come naturally, or do you have to work on it? Because I saw in the interview the what do you call it? The turn down for what? That shit came easy, but the build up line, which I didn't even know was the line, and I want to say the line real quick.
No one knew the line.
I did not know.
Nobody knew that.
I didn't know this.
The hardest part of the shit for me to do that took the longest. Nobody knows what the fuck I'm saying.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you what I thought you were saying?
Go ahead.
What I thought and what a lot of us thought was you were saying to the build-up, turn down for what, right? Was Friday night and everybody's out. Turn down for what? That's what I hear. Wow. That's what I even say on the mic. I'll be like, yo, it's Friday night. Everybody out. And then turn down for what?
I mean, that's a pretty good line, buddy. When I was doing it, my train of thought was, let me be a little more ghetto with the lyrics on this section, because it's kind of an EDM kind of beat, and let me just make it a little bit more ghetto so the hood people can relate. So I was like, fire up that loud. Fire up that loud. Like fire up that loud. Like the weed that smells, loud. We call it weed loud.
I never knew that was what you were saying.
Wow. Fire up that loud. Another round of shots.
Another round of shots.
Wow. Okay.
I think.
Oh man, it's so condensed. When you hear it, it's so condensed. Like you can't.
It's fire that loud.
Because I was like, what are we turning down for? Like, why are we saying turn down for what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to figure out how to set that up. And I took all that time and it didn't even fucking make no difference.
It went over everybody's head.
It turned into Friday night. Everybody's out.
Everybody's out.
Fire up that loud. Another round of shots. Turn down. Wow. What's that? 12 lines? 12 lines. 12 words.
12 words.
Maybe.
Originally, Redman was supposed to be in that song, right?
So when DJ Snake sent me the track, it had a Redman sample in it, and he wanted me to just say what Redman said. So Redman's sample was, "It's the countdown, bang the underground," right? So he sent me the song, like he sent me the song, but I was on the road. I was like, I ain't in the mood for this right now. So when I finally had time, I was home. I was like, let me fuck with this DJ Snake shit. So I pulled it up, I listened to it, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was like, yo, just send me the fucking instrumental. I got an idea. So as soon as I went in, they pushed record. Mm-hmm. Turn down for what? I was like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I knew as soon as I said it, it was fucking crazy. And I gotta thank the DJs again on that one too, because between me and Sujit, we just started to give it out to all of the DJs, and the DJs broke that record before we even had a deal. And it was so hot in the clubs and shit. I took it to Interscope and I took it to Columbia Records, and Columbia ended up, getting the deal done, and they just took it, and we had already laid the foundation because every DJ was playing it every weekend.
Right.
And they just knocked the fucking shit out of the park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first time I heard that record was at Sujit's birthday at Lavo in New York City. And you DJ'd, and it was a whole room full of DJs and industry people, which is like a horrible room in New York, right? It's like the worst room to DJ for.
We hate DJing for DJs. Jesus.
I remember, so like, you put that record on, you were like, yo, this is my new shit. And all the industry, New York people were like, all right, here we go. And then the record dropped and it was building up and it was turned down for what? And I remember we were like, oh shit, this motherfucker got something over here. It was a big record, yeah.
I remember playing it in Vegas. Just like people didn't even know it, but they would go crazy. You know, when it first started, and that's like Vegas is one of the places the record broke from. People don't realize Vegas is a great place to break records because people come from everywhere to party there. So if you got something that makes people react, they're gonna go home and remember that. You know what I mean? And take it like, yo, check this out. You know what I mean? So.
And you credit that record as being probably what your second largest record up to next to Usher, yeah?
I would definitely say and turn out for what is will be at 1 billion YouTube views by the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's 970.
No, 984. I just checked last night.
84 now?
Yeah, so you're close.
60 in like January.
Wow.
So yeah, by the end of the year, I'll be at 1 billion. That'll be my first 1 billion view record on ever. So yeah, I think it's probably just as big as
Wow, that's crazy.
Close to.
Yeah.
10 years after too.
Yeah.
It was exactly 10 years after turned out for what? Number one EDM record of the year by Billboard. So to get basically I don't have number ones in like I don't even know how many categories.
Three different decades of number ones?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I had a number one in the 90s.
Okay.
But I dropped hits in each decade, but it's just crazy to me, man, because I just go in and I just try to make good music. You know what I mean? And the results, these records just being able to just have these long lifespans is crazy. Because like Turn Out for What, The Sinks, that record was in so many commercials and movies and Michelle Obama talking about Turn Up for What. When you get some song that becomes pop culture dialogue, you really done something. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man.
Was it gradual, you moving into the EDM world or, So
what happened was late 2000s, I was fried. Because I had been doing so many albums and I had my own label and it's always the pressure on me to get the albums done and not just to get it done, but to come with the fucking singles. So all of that shit and being on the road, I was fried. So after I put out Crunk Rock, I was like, I can't even produce no more. Like I need a break. And I got to give credit to DJ Spider because I was in New Orleans and he was DJing Reggie Bush's party. This was the first game in the Superdome after Katrina. So Reggie Bush invited a bunch of us out to come to the game, and then he had an after party that night, and Spider was DJing. And I was just like, man, whoever this guy is killing it, man. So I had somebody get his number for me, and then the next day I was leaving, and this white kid came up to me in the airport. He was like, hey, it's me. I'm the DJ. I'm like, you the DJ? And so we connected, and he kind of got me back into the groove of DJing and shit. And we started to do a bunch of parties together, and I started to do a bunch of shit in Vegas here and there. I started my residencies in Vegas in 2010. I think I had my first residency.
Was it Vanity?
It was probably Vanity. Yeah, it was the Hard Rock. All of this shit, the Hard Rock. Yeah. All of this, So, and then I started to like get connected with, I think Pitbull is initially how I started to go in the EDM world because we had the, which one is that?
Anthem.
The anthem.
Oh yeah, the anthem. Yeah.
Anthem.
Yeah.
And through the anthem, I think I met LMFAO on the video set of, I think it was the Anthem or Crazy. It was one of them records. So the Anthem and Crazy both were in the EDM world. Then I met LMFAO. We ended up doing Shots. And then I met Chucky, and we worked together. So all of that was like started to slowly bring me into the EDM world. And when I got with Aoki and we did Turbulence,
right?
That was it, And then I just started fucking with everybody, just send me the beat because this shit was so easy. All I got to do is say fucking 8 words and I'm done.
It was crazy because I remember when Shots came out, I think it was 2008, and that was the first time for a lot of us DJs that we heard a hip hop voice over an up tempo type record. Right. And it was so seamless, and Shots was such a massive record. We were like, damn, John got something, man. Like he's he's back in a whole nother way with this shit.
And it's crazy with that one because they sent me, I think Deluxe and the LMFAO guys were in the studio. And I think Deluxe was the one that was like, we should get John on this. And they sent it to me. I was in the studio in New York. I just so happened to be in the studio, I think. Or maybe they got me in the studio. I don't remember. But when I got it, I was like, this shit is crazy. I laid that shit in like 5 minutes. Probably 10 minutes. I wrote all my shit and laid all my parts. And the other crazy thing about it, before I wrote it, I went on like Twitter and asked everybody, what are your favorite shots? And all of the feedback is what I put in the record. The top one is what I put in the record. Wow. So that was pretty cool too, to like the fans. I don't even think people really know that they're the reason that those shots are in there. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all the fans.
And it goes back to your third verse of being a chance again. And
kamikaze.
Kamikaze.
It's just easy for people to rap along to the chants in the club. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like even with like on the pitbull, get nasty, get freaky, you sexy. You know what I mean? Like all that shit is just easier to fucking sing along to than just a rap per se, you know. So
was that always a part of Atlanta party scenes, those chants, or was it kind of a little bit from like the whole DC, you know?
No, it's just us getting crunk. When we get crunk, we chant shit. You know what I mean? So like my first record as an artist, we recorded in 1995, and me and the East Side Boys and Player Poncho Player Poncho was an artist on Social Dub Bass All Stars. And the East Side Boys lived in Decatur near him. So I was hanging out with Poncho because I was his A&R. East Side Boys are his homies. So we're all in the club one night and we start chanting, who you with? Who you with? Who you with? Get crunk, who you with? And the whole club starts saying it. So I look at one of the East Side Boys and I'm like, man, we got to make a record with that shit. That shit's crazy. So I hit this dude I knew that had a record label, and he hooked up the studio and shit, and me and my boy Paul Lewis did the beat, and we went in and laid it, and that was my first hit record. The first song I ever recorded as an artist was like #1 in Atlanta, like on the countdowns and all that shit. And it dropped in like 96, but we recorded in 95. So it's crazy. Like, that's unknown for any artist to, like, your first song is a hit record. Like, who the fuck can say that? The first song you ever record is a hit. So
I remember hearing your first singles like B.I. and I Don't Give a Fuck, and we were like, what is this? Like, no one's even rapping. He's just chanting through the whole shit, and it reminded us of like Go-Go, like DJ Cool or anything like that. And I always wondered where it came from. It's like and it obviously came from the Atlanta party scene, right?
Yeah, just us on the mic. Or just people on the mic, or like, it's funny because some of the chants that are on the songs, if you think about it, imagine if you're in a hood club and it's a bunch of group of guys in the corner, like 15 guys, and they just start going, hey, 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 when they just turned up for something. You know what I mean? That's exactly what those chants are, and what they supposed to make you do is that type of shit. So that's where it kind of comes from. Just niggas just turned the fuck up in the club. Shit.
Do you think that's important to have that DJ background? Like, is that really vital? Because, like, I mean, some of the best producers, right? Like Jermaine Dupri, Dr. Dre, they all started as DJs. You, yourself. How vital is that for you in making the music, you know?
1,000,000% important. Because you make the records and structure the records so a DJ wants to play your shit every goddamn time he DJs, because it's easy. Like, it's an easy record. Like, I can put this on and I know it's going to build the crowd up to this point and make them go crazy. Then I can drop the next record. You know, you just want to, and then as a DJ, you want to make records that your peers are like, that shit is crazy. You know what I mean? That other DJs like too. So it's just, it's every aspect of the way I do it, from the intro to the chant parts to drops of music, is the DJ in me, you know, producing the record and shit.
Does a BPM matter a lot to you? Because you usually stay in a few pockets that, you know, it can live pretty strong with other records of yours.
Yeah, I used to produce a lot looking at what the hot records were on the radio. and being like, okay, that's at 95. We need to stay about 95, so we are in the mix with all these records. And I don't know if anybody really think about that, but if your record, the tempo is off, they can't. It's hard for a nigga to drop the shit. You know, if you got, if everything is 100 BPM right now, and you trying to do 60 BPM, your shit ain't gonna get played. You know what I mean? So I definitely think about the tempos a lot.
Now that you're DJ, you DJ'd for like, I don't know, you've been in the club scene now DJing for what, like 10 years or so? I
started DJing in 1990, 91.
91. And then you focused on production and rapping and art and being an artist.
I started DJing about 93 when I started working for Jermaine. I kind of gave up the club, and then I picked back up DJing like 2008.
2008. So like almost 12. So basically 12 years, you revisited your DJ career. Now looking back on it, would you rather perform as a DJ or as an artist on stage?
I wouldn't change anything. I like everything is different. You know, people ask me that a lot. Like, you like DJing more? Or do you like being on stage more? It's like, it just depends. Like, each one is different. Like, I think the DJ sets give a unique experience because it's not just you get up there, you do your shit, and you're gone. I'm up there 2 hours taking you on a musical journey, and we're drinking, I'm spraying champagne, I'm doing all this, I'm doing that. It's different than, you know what I mean, a show where you just gotta know every record, every song that I'm performing. You don't have to, because I'm playing all of this. If I'm DJing, I'm just playing all of this shit. You're gonna know something. I'm gonna bring back a memory here or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just two different things, and I love both. I love both of them.
Hey John, I was curious. Did you get any slack for doing a lot of EDM? Because at one point you was just doing all EDM, and you had stopped doing hip hop.
Well, the thing about hip hop is one of the only genres where when you get over 30, they act like you're 70. So hip hop wasn't even fucking with me anyway. You know what I mean? So EDM, they don't give a fuck how old you are. As long as you make a fucking dope record, they gonna jam to it. They don't give a shit. So hip hop people were like, John doing that EDM shit, but they weren't fucking with me anyway. Right. You know what I mean? Just like Turn Down for What didn't get hip hop play. Hip hop people got on Turn Down for What after it was already peaked because it was in every sporting event. Yeah. Everywhere you went, you heard the song. So you had to eventually kind of be like, all right, that's cool. Even if you ain't listening to it on yourself, but you knew it, you know what I mean? But yeah, hip hop didn't fuck with Turn Down for What. Like, it wasn't on, I can't say it was on urban radio stations. It was on crossover stations. But I don't, some urban radio stations played the remix, but they weren't fucking with it. So yeah, I didn't really give a shit because hip hop motherfuckers wasn't fucking with me anyway because I was old to them, so.
But you were still dropping hip hop music at that time. It just wasn't. You were getting more attention with your EDM collabs than you were.
Yeah, with the crossover type shit, like Out of Your Mind didn't go hip hop at all, but that shit was huge for me. On crossover and just in the clubs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a massive club record for us, man. That was
like it might not have been like top 5, but that shit in the club still gets people hyped. And one thing that I did to break Out of Your Mind, I cut a version where it was like, hold up, stop the music. I thought this was motherfucking New York.
Genius.
I thought this was. I don't know if a lot of people remember that.
Genius.
Genius. I still play that. Yeah,
a lot of us use that for our intros.
Yeah.
Right. So I figured out that if I did that, every DJ gonna play this because every DJ needs a break or some shit. Like, we love breaks. We love anything like that. It's a transition. So I was like, I'm gonna do that because what I noticed it from was. Put your fucking hands up. That's got to be the most used and said shit in EDM history. Yeah. In EDM history, I don't think nothing is more used to put your fucking hands up. And that's from me. And that was on DJ Class. DJ Class, I'm the shit. He put me on it. And I just wanted to hype up the drop. And so I said, put your fucking hands up. Boom, boom, boom. And then, somebody eventually sampled it and it started getting used everywhere. But
that is the go-to line for a lot of for drops in the EDM world.
Big time.
Right before the one hits. Yeah. That's crazy. That intro.
Even for the DJs that don't talk that much on the mic, they say put the fucking hands up. The DJs that don't speak English that be at the fucking festivals. I just came from Ibiza. Everybody, put your fucking hands up.
Shouts to John.
I swear, I think I got like at least 8 versions of the different cities.
Oh, there's
hold up.
There's more.
There's way more.
I did a bunch of versions, and then I think I even went on.
You did countries. You did everything. You did.
Yeah, and I even went on the internet and was like, "Yo, you send me your name. I'm gonna send you a drop." So I did. I went overboard to push that record. You know what I mean? And it worked. You know what I mean? So it's always, people don't realize how important the DJ is. They think it's all about the artist, and the artists forget themselves that it's not all about them. If the DJ is not playing your shit, then what do you have? Right. And I learned, because I remember when I dropped my first record. Well, this has helped me to even see more. I remember taking it to the radio station in Atlanta to my man Greg Street. He's on 6 to 10 on this station called B103 Atlanta, one of the big urban stations. I remember taking him the single, and he laughed at me. He was like, "Man, there ain't even no music in the beat." He was like, "All y'all doing is chanting." He laughed at me. Made me feel like my shit was garbage. But the #1 ghetto club in Atlanta, the DJ said, "I love this. I'm going to play this 5 times a night." And he literally played it 5 to 10 times a night because he was a house DJ, so he DJ'd every day the club was open, and he broke the record. So cater to the DJ, they're going to do more for you than just play it and move on. They're going to, support you, So that's my lesson to artists that are watching this. Just show love to the DJ, man. We good people, motherfucker. We need to love too. Show us some love. We gonna look out.
Exactly.
It's funny because that line, and when you say, "Wait, stop the music," I thought we was in motherfucking Vegas. We was in motherfucking Vegas, and then you go into the song that is so iconic in Vegas itself. Yeah, like the amount of crowd yelling, and every DJ in Vegas pretty much plays that at some point in the night. But the amount of yelling that people do when they're like, "I thought we was in motherfucking Vegas," is insane. And it's like, I would say it's one of like the staple intros for Las Vegas.
It's funny when I'm in the club and somebody plays that, everybody just looks at me and shit. I'm like, I'm over here chilling, bro.
Do you ever?
That's up there with like the Be Faithful, like the iconic like break.
Yeah,
right. Like next to that, I can't think of another break that's that powerful and that's still going to be used for years to come in Vegas like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get tired of kind of you've created so many signature lines, and it's almost, it can be turned into like a satire or a parody and stuff. Like the what? Do you ever get tired of that shit? I'm sure motherfuckers just yell that shit when you
yes. Just
are people still yelling that?
Yeah, they got to. They got to
yelling. Yeah, what?
They still yell that shit all the time. Like, damn, man. You got a 7 a.m. flight out of Vegas and you worked all night and shit, and you just tired, and motherfuckers like, yeah, and they'll keep doing it, until I respond. But I just fucking, I ignore that shit. Someone that ain't never really hang out with me, they be like, "Yo, you not tired of that shit?" I'm like, "Yeah." They were like, "Man, I hate that shit." Because it's like always, no matter where we go, people is like, "Yeah, what? Okay." Like, oh my god! Thank you, Dave Chappelle. Thank you, Dave.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. But you was in that Pepsi commercial too. That was kind of a good look, though. Like,
yeah,
that's how that's how iconic that it is, though. That they like what 10, 20 years later, they're still using it in a Super Bowl Pepsi commercial, which is crazy. Though.
I was shocked to get a call that they wanted me in a Super Bowl commercial, because that's everybody's dream.
Yeah,
is to be in a fucking Super Bowl commercial. And the Super Bowl was going to be in my hometown.
Right. Yes, Atlanta last year. Yeah.
And
you did a great show, by the way. You killed that, by the way. That was amazing what you did. Yeah.
So they even had billboards of me around Atlanta. So it was like it made me feel good. And I think the Falcons came out. I think the Super Bowl before that, the Falcons came out to the Trick Daddy song "Let's Go." So they came out to my voice, and just like all of that type of shit is just like, wow. You just don't expect it, and you just sit back and they're like, damn, man, like this is crazy. You know, Super Bowl commercial and introducing the Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah. They played the commercial in the stadium. I was in the stadium, and they played the commercial in the fucking stadium. I was just like, wow. Like, it's just all crazy, man, and look back at all these accomplishments. Doing the Stanley Cup, man. Like, no other rapper I knew ever had opened up the Stanley Cup. Like, what the fuck?
That's a different territory. That's not urban sports. That's white sports.
Right. So, just all of these things, man. It's just, man. I'm just a hard worker, and I treat it like I don't have shit. You know what I mean? Like, I act like I haven't accomplished shit. That's why I work so hard, and I just feel like I still have so much more to do. That's why I'm not gonna stop. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep going.
Are you shocked at the longevity of your career? At like when I recently, like, you brought up D Nice. You know, do you think D Nice would have ever thought he'd be, he'd come out as the biggest DJ in the world after this pandemic? And it's just
he definitely didn't think. Nobody could. Nobody. I mean, D Nice is the homie. D Nice he's a great fucking dude.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was awesome because you didn't really hear those records. You know what I mean? Like, we can't play them records out. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can only play them records at certain crowds. So I was in there when it wasn't nobody but like 20,000 people in there, or 5,000 people in there. I think maybe like 5 or 10. I remember it blew up over like, he had been doing it for like 3 weeks, and then like the 4th week or some shit, like it started to go crazy. But I was in there early. Yeah. And it was just cool to just hear music that I used to play or I used to listen to. And it was like, and then it was like all the cool people were in there. It wasn't trendy and shit. So it was just like fun. And then, once Michelle Obama and motherfuckers came in there, it was like, it just was out, he was out of this stratosphere and shit. So I'm so happy for him. You know what I mean? I saw he just bought him a new house.
Yeah.
So I saw that. He getting money during coronavirus time. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for him. He deserves all that shit, though.
But isn't it crazy to see the longevity of his career, from DJing for BDP to his solo rap career to DJing in nightclubs and corporate events, and then to see where he is now? And do you look at your career and kind of like, wow, like, it's crazy that I'm still staying relevant, and it's really just people reacting to your music, new generations reacting to your music, and then, putting stuff out like Saweetie and the Pepsi commercials. And does that kind of give you, I don't know, like, how does that make you feel? Like, does it make you feel like anything can happen at any time? Like, Yeah,
you definitely feel that, because like the Pepsi commercial and a lot of the commercials and stuff just came out of nowhere. It's like, yo, we want you to do this. What? Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then just thinking back, like I said, the first record I recorded as an artist was 1995. And then before that, I started producing early 90, like 93, 94. Cableton Tour was early, like 94, 95. I can't remember. So I was thinking about it a couple months ago, just like I've had hit records in the last 3 decades, which is crazy. Yeah, like, it's crazy. And I definitely think the longevity, like, I'm so blessed to have this, because there's so many artists that come and go so quickly. And I'm so appreciative for everyone for supporting me. And I just, like I said, I like to just work hard, and I just want to keep working hard and keep giving people good music, and until I can't do it no more. So that's what I'm gonna do. And that leads into the new Yin Yang song. Hey. So that I got inspired by. It's funny that City Girls had dropped their new album, and they had a song called Pussy Talk.
Yeah.
Pussy
the
Talk.
Pussy Talk song came out, and a DJ had put like the Kaya sample at the beginning of it, and it was kind of offbeat the way they did it. And I like chopped it and looped a section of it. And I was like, damn, this could be dope as a record. Like I might want to just take this and make a new song, because I haven't really been producing the whole quarantine.
Oh, you haven't? So, you haven't at all?
No, I've just been mainly doing the live sets. So I went in the studio and made some shit, and I was like, I'm gonna send this to Yin Yang. So I sent it to Yin Yang, and around the time I made that beat, I just made a couple other little ideas. Sent it to Yin Yang to get on it for me and them to do a song, and they sent me vocals back, and I'm like, it don't fit on this beat. So I put it on another beat that we had done the same time, me and my son, because my son's home. He just graduated from NYU. Wow. He graduated from Tisch, the school, Clive Davis's program. So he knows engineering and producing and all of that shit. That's what he went to school for. So he's engineering here, and me and him co-producing shit. So me and my son listen to it, and we both kind of look at each other at the same time like, that don't fit on that beat, but let's put it on this other beat. So we put it on the other beat. It worked, and that's how this Yin Yang song came about. Out of nowhere, pretty much out of nowhere. And now, like, you know, we getting ready to like really go hard with it. Initially, I'm just getting out to the DJs. So all DJs, if you need the song, LilJonDrops@gmail.com. Just hit me up, tell me you need it, I'll send it to you. But yeah, that's just started some new shit. And then right around the same time, Saweetie's people called me to do some shit. So I just like the last month and a half, 2 months, I just been diving into production, and I literally been doing, me and my son been trying to do like 3 to 5 beats a week. So we just stacking up.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you're working with your son now. Young Slade, right? Is he DJs as well?
Young Slade.
By the way, I DJed with him last year at Light. Real cool kid.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was New Year's week.
Before that.
Oh, okay.
It might have been New Year's week. It might have been that week. Yeah, but yeah, definitely nice, good DJ as well, man.
Yeah, he started DJing at 12, and he wanted to be a technical like scratcher and all of that. So he's really a turntable purist, and he went to Scratch Academy, and he also like had some other DJ mentors that taught him all the tech shit. Because early on, he was really into the tricks and the techniques and all that. But what I tried to instill in him early on is that if you learn how to mix, you can always have a job. You know what I mean? Turn the tricks and all of that, amazing. You can probably work with that, but you can get a job at any fucking club DJing if you know how to mix. You know how to put, good mixes together and have a good set. So that's what I taught him. So he knows all of that shit. So yeah, me and him have been producing together, and we got this new Yin Yang, Twerking in the Mirror, and I think it's another one of them ones.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
What is the relationship with you and Yin Yang Twins? Is you guys created some legendary
magic,
incredible records. Are they still rapping? Do you guys talk regularly, or how does that work?
Now we talk like every fucking day. But like we would run into each other, and they'd be like, "Yo, when we gonna do some shit?" I would always be like, "It's got to be when the time is right. We got to be when the time is right." And it's crazy that I called them, the time was right, and look, we turned the record around in like a couple of days. It's crazy how quickly it happened. And I was just talking to Sujit. I was like, "Yo, I got this record. You want to do it with me? Fuck yeah, let's do it." So that's how all of this happened, like out of nowhere, quickly. And we just did another song that's pretty dope. Wow. I'm kind of taking time with it. I don't want to rush. Like let's do a whole album. Like we're just gonna take it song by song. They sent me some vocals for some other shit, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this," and I made a hook out of that. And then they went back and did verses, and now we got 2 songs. So I'm trying to finish that one up and get that one ready. So yeah, so Yin Yang Twins, Twerking in the Mirror, Lil Jon and Saweetie. I got a couple we working on, and hopefully many more.
What is it with Sujit's ear? Do you trust Sujit's ear?
Sujit said he don't know. He just go work it. I don't think Sujit knows. Do you think Sujit really knows what a hit record is?
I don't think he makes it.
I don't know, man.
He makes it
like he knows.
he makes it seem like he has an ear. Like I knew this was, and I'm just like, yo, you're a sales dude, so you
right.
You're gonna sell.
That's what he is.
If I put mayonnaise, if I make a song about mayonnaise, and I tell you like sell this shit, you're gonna sell the shit, and you're gonna make it right. You know what I mean? But I always wonder from the artists if they was just like, yo, he's an amazing sales dude, or that motherfucker got an ear, like motherfuckers trust his ear and shit.
Nah, I think you're right. He's just a salesman. I don't think he knows. I think he's just like. I think he think all that shit kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
Yo, John, I got a question. So, like, I feel like other regions, other parts of the country, they've had their runs. The West Coast has always had a dope run. East Coast, New Orleans, down south. But Atlanta has been consistent for so long now and just cranked out bangers. Like, what is it about Atlanta, man? Like, where it just keeps coming. It doesn't stop. And it's just evolutionary and it's just one after another. It started with you and then graduated to Outkast. And then, now you look at Migos and 21 Savage.
Sure.
What is it about Atlanta, man?
Yeah.
Atlanta, I think Atlanta wins because we're not trying to be like nobody else. And we just make music for Atlanta. Like, that's why Atlanta, too, like if you went in the versus battle for Monica and Brandy. You looked at the comments, Atlanta niggas was in there like ATL.
Yeah.
Like we are a community of motherfuckers that like we support each other and we love our shit. So we make music for us and it just happens to blow up out of Atlanta and everybody likes our swag, our culture. Like the culture of Atlanta. So I think that's what it is. We ain't trying to please nobody. We just do it for us.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you haven't worked with more Atlanta rappers or hip hop artists, the newer ones?
I haven't really been on the production like that.
Right.
But now that I'm back on these beats like crazy, me and Young Slade doing them together, me and DJ Chronic doing them together. Hopefully, it takes time. You know what I mean? Like when you ain't been on the scene like that in a while. It takes time for people to start checking for you again. Even though, I have had all these massive records. The newer generation, they grew up on them, but they still liking this shit over here. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time for me to get more records out there on different artists and have more shit back on the radio for people to come fuck with my shit again as far as production. But for me, it's cool. Like, that just makes me work hard and at the same time I'm perfecting my shit even more. Making the sound. I'm dialing in the sound even more in the meantime until I get that one that goes on the radio.
Do you have an apprehension, like kind of re-entering the hip hop scene again a little bit with like putting out the music with Mac Dre, or you're like totally comfortable with the shit?
No, I mean to me it's like you gonna win some, you gonna lose some. It's like, if you look at Chris Brown puts out a shit ton of music because he's not scared to fail. When you start worrying about, is it going to work or is it not going to work, then you're going to get caught up in not releasing shit and missing opportunities. Like, I could have, when Crunk Rock didn't do shit, that could have been the end of me. But I kept going, and what did I drop after that? Fucking turned out for what? So you just keep going. And you keep putting out shit, so I don't care. I'm gonna keep putting it out. If I want to conquer something, I'm gonna conquer it. Nothing. I don't let anything get the best of me. I get the best of it eventually. So I'm gonna just keep putting music out till something works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody gets their time, but you just got to be patient and work for that shit.
Basically, always have your cards on the table. Just keep playing, right? Standing up. You're gonna win.
Exactly.
You're gonna win some jackpots, and you're gonna lose some, right?
Exactly.
You mentioned
every major producer and artist has had records that didn't do shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For real.
You mentioned working with Chronic, and you kind of started working with him on Bend Over, right?
Yeah.
On that track. How did y'all link up, and you guys have pretty much stuck together since Bend Over and like been kind of bouncing ideas and co-producing with each other? He's from Australia, right? He's from Australia?
He's from Australia. He had did something and I liked it, and then I had hit him up, was like, yo, can you do a twerk beat? And he was like, yeah. But he had never done a twerk beat before. So Bend Over was actually his first ever twerk beat that he had done.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we just worked really good together. Like, we vibe really well, and like, you know how you can talk, can work, and you don't have to tell somebody something, they kind of get it without you even telling them, or they already going in that direction. That's how we kind of work together. So yeah, we done a lot of shit. We got some shit that was on some soundtracks. No like singles yet, but like still, you know, it'll come, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we work really good together, and that's just how it started from. Yeah, it started from being over.
What do you call it? Do you guys have any other questions about like production or the DJing stuff? Because I had
a question.
Go ahead.
I had a question about coming from Atlanta and production. Did you have like a chip on your shoulder because Atlanta was not accepted as a West Coast or East Coast hip hop region? That you guys had to kind of break that wall and come through. Was there ever a chip on your shoulder while you were producing those records from like 02 to 06 that you were just feeding them?
Nah, for me, it's always like, if you put a wall in front of me, I'm gonna figure a way to go through it, around it, or over it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, or under it. As an artist, I always had to grind to get somewhere. Like, even how Crook was talking about New York DJs was playing all of the Crunk records, but I had to figure out a way to break through in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So getting Big Cap on Bia was very strategic because Cap was next to Flex at all time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Cap also was a voice of all those 88 records,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, at the time. And Cap was in the tunnel. And Cap was DJing a lot of fucking parties. So getting Cap on the record was very strategic. And he got me through the New York door. I got them to be like, okay, who this dude? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then once I got through, like, in New York started banging that, is around the time of Dipset. So Dipset was the hype fucking, that was the crunk shit from New York. Then you had my crunk shit, so they be playing out shit back to back, and we had the clubs on smash. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I just didn't never I'm always gonna figure out a way to get it done. You know what I mean? That's just my mentality. Like, even early on, I remember I called radio stations to get my song added, or I would be at Mix Show Power Summit, myself passing out the vinyl, going to, you know, I'd get in people's faces. I'll get in the car and drive. Like, I'm like, okay, we need to take over. The record's hot in Atlanta. We need to take over Birmingham. We would just go drive to Birmingham for the weekend and go party in all the hot clubs and make sure all the DJs got the records and boom, boom, boom. Get drunk with them. We got Birmingham. Like, so that's just how I've always been. I always been like, I got to get it done mentality with the music, so I'm always have that. You know what I'm saying?
That go to, like, trying to get everything done and that hustle mentality. Is that what is that what helped you win Celebrity Apprentice? Pretty much. You like my segue? Well, do you like my segue?
Perfect segue.
That was cool. I think being a producer helped me to be able to last that long, because when you're a producer, you have a certain amount of money in a budget, you have a certain time span, you have to juggle all these egos and attitudes and all these different people, and if you can do that and you can get to the end and put something out and have a hit record, then that's the same thing with The Apprentice. If you're the project manager, or you got to be a team player, or you do the job. You got to learn. The number one thing is dealing with people and telling them certain things to get them to do things without you offending them or pissing them off and shit. Mm-hmm. That was the hard part, and getting people on your side. So that's all being a producer. And I guess that's also being a people person. And like you said, it's also the hustle. Like, we got to get it done. I got to stay longer. I got to work harder. Or these people ain't doing what they supposed to do. I'm going to step up and get it done. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to use this person since they slacking. Boom, boom, boom. So all of that helped me to be able to do that shit. And doing that show, doing it twice, it showed me that I can literally do anything in the world that I want to do, because that shit is hard. Because you have to think about it. Every 2 days, somebody's going home. Every day, you don't know what your next thing is that you're doing. You know what I mean? And you don't know when you got to be the project manager. So, like, all right, 2 days, boom, boom, 2 days, somebody's fired, boom. The next day, somebody else has to step up and take over. And, you know, like, that shit is hard. And then the longer you go, the less people it is to do the job. You can't delegate. So you got to be more in control. Like, that shit is hard, bro. And like, shoot for 30 straight days or some shit. And man, that was hard. But yeah, it showed me that I could do anything I wanted to.
Was there any drama on the set? Like, was there any crazy? I mean, I want to know, like, a lot of motherfuckers take that shit seriously, and you look like you took it seriously, but it also looked really effortless on your part a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you made it look effortless on the show. But
I was just focused. I knew what I had to do. I wasn't playing around, you know, and I wasn't trying to go home. You know what I mean? Like, the number one thing is nobody wanted to go home first. That's the worst person to be. Get kicked off the first day. You know what I mean? So, but I was just focused, man. I just wasn't, and you know, I wouldn't say it was easy, but you just gotta be smart. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard if you just use your fucking brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, think.
Fast forwarding to like 2020, where we are right now, right? Did you talk with Donald Trump at all? Did you speak with him? Did you see any examples of him? Just the craziness of this motherfucker to what we see today. Did you see any of that shit?
People ask me that a lot.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I've never seen the guy that's in the White House right now. I never saw that side of him. He always showed me a lot of respect. His kids, he always showed me a lot of respect. They seem really cool. But yeah, it's insane what's going on, what we're going through in America, how America is now looked at as like, ooh, America. Right. Ooh. Like, yeah, fuck those guys. They're fucked up over there.
Right.
It's crazy. Like I said, I didn't see any of this.
What
I didn't see it coming.
What Donald Trump did you see? What did you experience? What version of Donald Trump did you?
I mean, he was cool to me. He looked out for me. He was a very good businessman on the show. Like, if you weren't on your shit,
yeah,
and if you got to the boardroom and if you didn't fight, you got sent home. It was interesting to get in to have to be brought back into that boardroom. Bro, you was scared. You would be in the waiting room like this, like get out, ready for battle. Like, that's a war. And I had to go in there with Omarosa, nigga. Like, Omarosa. I'm going to tell you, nigga, I saw Omarosa. She would walk around with a notepad and take notes on everybody. Because she was going to use that shit in the boardroom on your ass later. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, so I seen all of that, and I just had to be always prepared. But this guy, 45, I don't know what the fuck, bro. And I don't know, man. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
That being on that show and winning the Celebrity Apprentice.
I didn't win. I came in like top 4.
Oh, you did?
Time.
I thought you won. Shit. Oh.
I came in 3rd, 4th one time, and 3rd other time.
Wait, who won? Who won that one? Who won that shit?
One time, John Rich, who was my ally and my friend.
Yeah.
On the show. He was my friend off the show. And then Trace Atkins won the other season.
When you were on that show, a lot of eyes were on you, obviously. Did your bookings go up? Did your DJ shit just go up and everything just kind of catapult up?
I don't remember. Probably it made me more appealing to the corporate eye because, that's NBC on a Sunday. And excuse me, the thing about me being on the show is they told me I was a fan favorite. So, like, I was one of the characters that people loved. And I mean, I saw that when I would be in the airport. Like, our whole families would come up to me, grandmother, son, daughter, kids, grandkids. They all would know me, not just black, white, all kind of races, different people coming up to me saying they saw me on the show, telling me how well I was doing or how well I did, and they loved me and all that. So I think definitely it probably opened me up to more corporate areas and stuff.
As with this whole pandemic going on, right? What is the I don't know, the temperature of your gigs and the future of your gigs and doing live shows? Like, are you talking to festivals and bookers? What are they saying? 2021, 2021? Is everyone just?
I mean, I've gotten calls to do some stuff. Like I recently got a call to do some stuff in Atlanta. But me personally, they don't. To me, I don't trust everything that they're telling us. Like we don't really know for sure how this shit is transmitted, how you get this, how you get that, what it really does to your body. Mm-hmm. Because first it was a virus, but now they're saying it affects your lungs and you lose your sense of smell and taste and all of this other shit. So it's going to be 5 to 10 years before we really know what COVID-19 is. So I'm not chancing that right now, trying to go out and just make some money when I could, come up with some other stuff to do. Like I dive more into the production. Mm-hmm. I'm doing my live shows. My live gigs are every Saturday night, 10 p.m. LilJonLive.com, building that up. But yeah, the temperature that I've gotten is like next year. Because if you look at other countries, they going back in and out of lockdown and they were more strict than we were. Our shit is fucked up. Yeah. We ain't shit all over. Yeah. So we definitely not gonna have no real. We're gonna be doing drive-in concerts for another year, motherfucker. Shit. That shit is not about to change, So, but I'm cool. I love the live streaming. I love it. It's crazy that I would have never thought I would have to. I would be DJing online, streaming my set from my house, Mm-hmm. But I had to dive in and learn this whole new technology of how to do this. And I feel like my sets are a step above everybody else's out there because there's a lot of production in what we do, planning out the sets, making sure the mixes are even tight. Like there's a lot of DJs I watch, it's kind of boring to me because they kind of be all over the fucking place. Like how you go from Young Thug to goddamn Conway Twitty or some shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't rock with you, bro. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of DJs are boring when you're just standing there just looking at them. I even see DJs still, even though they're streaming with the laptop in front of them. DJ, number one thing y'all niggas need to learn: put the fucking laptop on the side. Even when you're in the club, put the laptop on the side. When hip-hop started, the DJ was in the forefront. He was the main motherfucker. And y'all niggas is hiding behind laptops and shit? Put the laptop on the goddamn side. Anyway.
I do that. I got the laptop in front of me.
I feel bad. I'm guilty.
People want to see y'all, man. Move that laptop to the side, bro. Like... I don't like looking at a DJ and the laptop is in front of their face. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's like if I'm looking at you, I want to see you. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just my opinion. Move the fucking laptop, crooked.
God damn.
But yeah, so my live sets, man, it's a lot of production. Like we take time to go get viral shit off the internet. And it's just a lot of production into the sets, and I take pride in the music I'm playing. I take time to really curate the sets of the music too. So I really I'm liking that. I don't have no problem with just doing that for now. You know what I mean? But I miss the club. But until we get this shit figured out, I'm gonna be right here at the crib, bro.
Yeah. Where are you filming that? Is that like in your man cave bar? Like in like where is that?
I have a bar in my basement, and it's like it could be in a restaurant. It's that big. Wow. It's a nice size bar. It's like 15 foot, 20 foot long bar, some shit like that. Yeah. So it's just set up there. My shit looks like a fucking TV studio down there now. It's like
I'm looking
I hooked up
I'm looking at your background right now, right? I'm looking at your background right now. It looks like, a
museum.
Well, this is my office. This is my office.
This is your office. That shit look huge, though.
Yeah. Shit look better than my mama's house.
So I'm going to give y'all a tip, too, for if you're streaming a lot. Hook a monitor up to your laptop instead of looking at your Serato on your computer. And because that's what I do. I have a big monitor. So I don't even have to, and I just use the knobs on the mixer to switch the songs. I don't even use the fucking computer at all. I just use the mixer, and I have the big monitor, so I don't have to be looking all off to the side at the computer and shit.
Yeah.
It's huge right there. So I have that, and then I have a monitor for the chat and shit too. That's huge too, so I can see all of that shit right there. I'm not looking at it on my phone or an iPad. I had an iPad initially, but I needed it bigger because you know the chats be going so fast and shit sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. So that's a little streaming tip for you DJs out there. Hook your computer up to a monitor instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't have to look at the Serato in the computer.
I had a question about maybe like who you've worked with. Do you have like a favorite artist or that you connect with musically? And also, is there someone that you haven't worked with that you want to work with?
I wouldn't mind doing something with Kanye. I did a song with Jay-Z, but it never came out.
Really?
I was working with Rick Rubin at the time, and Rick Rubin called me in to do some ad-libs on this Jay-Z song, and it had Chris Rock on it. So it's Chris Rock, me, and Jay-Z, produced by Rick Rubin. It was supposed to be a Jay-Z Greatest Hits album, but he ended up not putting that album. I don't think he put it out. So that's in the vault somewhere. I'm sure that's going to be released one day, hopefully.
Oh shit! Damn.
You know,
Did you?
I work with a lot of people, but yeah, like Jay and Kanye, and I want to do some shit with Lil Baby. I fuck with Lil Baby heavy.
That'd be dope.
I want to do some more shit with 2 Chainz, some newer shit with 2 Chainz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, just more Atlanta niggas. You know what I mean? So,
What about the Migos?
Migos too. I would definitely fuck with Migos. And
Do a full song, just ad libs.
You and Quavo.
Yeah.
Remember they did a song. They shouted me out. Lil Jon Energy, and they was on that Lil Jon Energy for a while. They was tweeting that, and I mean posting shit with that on their Instagram and shit. So shout out to the Migos for showing love.
Were you in the studio when the Mobb Deep recorded Real Gangsters? Were you?
Yeah,
with them?
we were me, them, Alchemist. We were all in the studio together. I did that beat from scratch in New York.
That's crazy.
So for me, working with Mobb Deep, working with Nas was like up here because of the way Southern artists were treated by New York. You know what I mean? New York motherfuckers like weren't respecting Southern hip hop, and then for me to go on to, you know, eventually do songs with some of the most respected hip hop motherfuckers of all time.
Right.
It's crazy. So thank you, Mobb Deep and Nas for fucking with me. You know, I did Nas and the Bravehearts, Quick to Back Down. So we did that in Atlanta too. I think I did that one in the studio too. So I used to like to, more than send people beats, I like to just cook up with them in the spot. You know what I'm saying? So
what do you call it? Do you guys have any other questions that you want to go through with Lil Jon?
Man, I think we covered a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I think we're good for the most part.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, John, and stuff, but it's been great having you on. I've been wanting you on this podcast for a minute, and I think for this round of questions, you definitely answered a bunch of shit that we've been wanting to ask you for years.
We got enough for 2 episodes of this motherfucker.
Yeah, we could, man. Definitely could. I want to actually. When you first started DJing, I remember when you first started DJing, and I opened for you at the Hard Rock Rehab, and you were DJing, and I remember seeing you there, and I really respected you. I was like, damn, I was a really big fan at the time, and I think I accidentally played Salt Shaker. And then I think it was your security or your road manager. He came up to me. He tapped me on the shoulder, and he looked, and I looked at it, and he pointed at you, and you were sitting behind me, and you went like this. And I was like, oh shit, I played Salt Shaker, and I was like, oh, this is so old. I didn't think he would keep, he would want to play this, but I was like, fuck it. And then I was so scared to play anything that was new. So I did like an 80s R&B, 90s R&B set. And then the crowd was like into it. I was playing Poison, I was playing Next, I was playing all this old shit. Cuz I was like, I'm not even going to touch any hip hop. I'm just going to let him go off, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then I think you were getting on, and I had just taken it so back that you were like getting ready, and you said to me, you were like, Man, after you, I don't even know what to play. Because you were like, this month, you were like, yo, you were just playing all this old shit and it's been working. So you're like, I don't know what to do. And then when you went on, I remember you had you had an amazing intro and you just killed it. And it was always a questionable thing. I was like, Lil Jon's going to DJ? Like, let's see what he does. And I think, and that really solidified to me. I was like, because everyone would text me. I guess BBM was really big back then. They're like, yo, how was Lil Jon? How was Lil Jon? I'm like, yo, that motherfucker tore it down. So it was good to see you do that shit. And I always felt bad that I played Salt Shaker before you got on.
So it's funny. Like, a lot of DJs think that I'm just like this rap nigga trying to get into DJing. They don't realize that, like, I solidified myself as Lil Jon in Atlanta from DJing the hottest clubs in Atlanta. So I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm not like a poser per se. So it's always funny to me to, like, you know, see DJs give me a little side eye or hear that, you know, whatever the fuck, they don't think I'm really a DJ. And then I go on and fuck their ass up and they like, shit, this motherfucker's a DJ. Like, I don't be scratching and shit, but I got mixes, motherfucker, and I know how to drop shit. You know, my hand-eye coordination was always terrible. I could scratch a little bit, and then I just gave up on that shit. I was like, I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm just mixing and just cue points and shit. So, yeah. And then it's funny also when people, I was notorious for cursing niggas out when they burnt me on and said, like, you know how a nigga get, you know, you the headliner and you about to get on a nigga play like 10 records real quick. That's all of the hottest shit. And you be like, my nigga, really? So I used to get on the mic and verbally destroy a nigga and then drop and then just murder the party. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, and sometimes I know it's by accident. So I be like, I give niggas a pass, you know what I mean? Because, you know, some shit that is in your set that you play every week.
Yeah.
And then I'm there and my voice is on this breakbeat record or this intro and you forget. So I get it. You know what I mean? That just makes me feel good, too, that I'm all over the place where, like, a nigga gotta be like, oh, shit. But it's also good sometimes, like what you did, like you went in a different direction. So sometimes if someone burns me a little bit, it makes me go in a different direction that I wasn't going to go in. And then, like, I do something differently than I would have normally done. It makes me work a little harder, but at the end, it's a better set. You know what I mean? I like that too sometimes.
I remember a story of you being in New York, DJing at One Oak, and you actually, someone opened for you, and they played all the new shit and the hot shit. And I heard you got on the mic and you were like, yo, what the fuck was that? Like, you just played every hot shit. And you just kind of went on the mic and you kind of, I don't know if you cursed them out, but you definitely put them on blast. You were like, yo, like, what the fuck kind of shit is that? And then you just went on and you did your thing, you know what I mean? But it's good that it's just funny that you brought it up because I was like, Lil Jon, would he really do that? And I'm like, I guess he really would.
Yes, he did.
DJs need to learn the etiquette. Like, it's so much music that you can play. Why you gotta play all the hot shit before a headliner? That's where I come from. That's disrespectful. The school that I grew up in as a DJ, that's disrespectful to go on and burn the records. Like. I remember I checked the DJ for that one time. It was a girl DJ. I'm not going to say her name because y'all know who she is. And she was like, you can just play it again. And I was like, we don't do that. You don't play records twice. That's why I come in the club an hour before my set so I can make sure I don't play the same shit that you just played. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of this is stuff that should be taught to DJs, but no one has told them this shit. Like, this is the type of shit, you know what I mean, y'all talk about that's great. This type of shit is what niggas need to learn. Like, you don't burn a nigga, and then you don't play all the hot shit, and find some other shit to play. I heard openers kill it with older shit harder than the newer shit plenty of night. Like, they just be rocking, and then I get on and I'm doing my shit, and I can't find the vibe. Because we all know Vegas is a 90s fucking music kind of crowd. 90s and early 2000s is all them niggas want to hear. That's what always works with Vegas goddamn crowd. So, you know what I mean? So sometimes that shit just be winning and you can't get get a line in, or they don't know all of the new shit. You know what I mean? You can only play a chorus and get out and get into something older that they do know. So, but this is shit that y'all DJs out there that are watching and listening to this, y'all got to take notes on, because that shit is somebody might punch your ass in the face one day for that. I'm just saying, like, you don't burn people, bro. That's a DJ commandment. Thou shalt not play all the new shit, bitch ass nigga, before I just bring everybody I had motherfuckers to play my shit before I got on. I'm like, who taught you how to DJ? You just play Get Low. You play Get Low, nigga. I'm in here. You play Yeah. You don't think I'm gonna play Yeah and Get Low? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Salt shaker? Jesus, come on, Kirk.
Yeah, salt shaker, some DJs think that that's cool for them to do that because I'm coming on, and I'm like, no, you need to say they want to see me when that song is on. You have to save that energy. That energy needs to be saved for when I get up to do that. Yeah. So we just got a school of youngins, man, because they learning in their bedrooms and not learning around other people. Definitely. That's why they don't know this shit.
I apologize. That was that was like 10 years ago, and I apologize, John.
It's all good.
It wasn't done out of malice, though. I was like, I knew I fucked up. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. But I'm also glad that you and Never squashed your beef too.
Yeah, a lot of beef squashing today. I love how he addressed it first. It was the first thing out the gate.
I get out the way.
Because I just wanted him to know that, like, I wasn't trying to go crazy. You know,
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
He ain't forget. I'm glad. I'm actually just shocked you listened to the episode and you heard him do that, because we were thinking like Lil Jon ain't gonna listen to this shit. Like
Lil Jon would never listen to this.
I watch because it's good to hear DJs talk about what's going on, what's the future of our industry, and so on and so forth. So it's good to hear different perspectives of everything that pertains to us.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Thank you guys for doing this.
No. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man. Really appreciate it, John. We're gonna push that Yin Yang single, and any new music that you have, just send it over to us, and we'll definitely show love, man, for real.
Definitely, hell yeah.
For sure.
Jamie, you want to take us out?
Yeah. If you want to watch this video alongside all our brand new videos we drop every Friday, make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/The Road Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be the first one to drop that video, to get that video when it drops.
And you can check us every Sunday on twitch.tv/Road Podcast, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And Lil Jon's on littlejon.com, right? Streaming?
littlejohnlive.com, and that'll take you to Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. There's one more I'm missing.
I think
Facebook. YouTube. God damn it.
Nice.
Or you can just watch all my shit on just littlejohnlive.com. So
dope.
I got to stream live.
Thank you, John. Thank you again for coming through, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Shout to the legend, man, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.